In this video, I'd like to share with you guys some of the thoughts I have about what will happen after World War C, um, how society will change, how business will change. And the first thought I have is we're collectively all waiting and counting down till somebody from the government goes on TV and says, "Hey everyone, your country is open for business again. Everything will go back to normal. Um, Leave your homes, go back to your offices, go back on vacation, go to restaurants, enjoy spending time with your friends, um, and so forth and so on." This is what we as a society are collectively waiting for, and I think I think we're pretty much in agreement. We're hoping for a cure, a vaccine. We're hoping that after spring break we can go back to school and spend time with, see our friends, um, and that we wake up one day and this was just a bad nightmare and now things are back to normal. Well, let's talk about normal for a moment. The normal is us overcrowding the planet. Normal is destroying the planet, polluting the planet, destroying our ecosystems, and predatory business practices, a system of capitalism that is not human-centered, uh, but very cold and selfish, and a society that was in some ways achieving its highest potential, in other ways has never sunk lower. Um, that's what we want to wake up to. This is what we're all hoping to get back to. And not because we are thinking about those things very deeply. We really just want to go back and be with our friends and consume as if our pollution does not really make a difference. I was really put in a deep state of thinking after I saw the pictures of the fishes and the clean water in Venice. I remember a friend telling me, I've never been to Venice myself, but I remember a friend telling me how they had looked forward to a trip there and that the water smelled like sewer and that it was not beautiful. And I saw the pictures of Venice and the water was clear and the fishes were swimming and it was beautiful. And I didn't see pictures of this, but I believe I read an article about dolphins returning, and it made me think, what kind of impact, what kind of healing impact will World War C have on the planet? And the metaphor would be that the contagion is a form of autoimmune protection for the planet when we are destroying the habitat or become too crowded or make too much of an impact. And scientists will confirm that if you look at one of the major reasons why we have these type of diseases, spread around the world, and these flare-ups, they will cite that globalization is a large part of this. We are interconnected, so our impact on the global ecosystem is larger than ever before, and these things can spread more fast than ever before. So anyhow, what I want to say with that is that we have an opportunity here to reimagine what the world will look like after World War C, in a similar way that after the World War II, we came together and said, let's not do this again. Let's have this be the last one. A similar way that after the Cold War, we started signing nuclear treaties and started controlling this potential means of self-destruction. And in the same way, I am hoping that we can draw lessons from this, and you won't hear them all in this video. This recording I am sharing, I'm hoping that you who are listening you are going to help think about what that will look like, what society ought to look like after World War C, how we would change. Now, depending on how long this crisis will last, I think that certain things are never going to be back like they used to be. We may think we're going to wake up from this and find the world the same place, but I don't think that is necessarily going to be the case, and I will give a few examples. If schools are closed for long enough, will we innovate tremendously in remote education? Will we learn to rethink how education works? You can bet on that. If this crisis lasts long enough, let's say your very expensive, beautiful, large office building is empty for 18 months. I know you don't want to hear 18 months. If it lasts long enough, if it did, would employers and businesses be inclined to create more of these mega spaces once workers are now used to the new normal of working from home, when they discover how much more efficient it is for cost savings, when we see how this will have improved our quality of life in a certain way, by not having to sit in traffic for 2 to 3 hours a day. What will then that do for the environment, reducing the pollution and the demand on gasoline? What will that do to the price of gasoline? What will the low price of gasoline do for innovation around alternative fuel sources? Will solar and so forth find a hard time to compete with fossil fuels if the demand is dropped significantly? Do we have the opportunity to use this time to retool our factories? Should there be another virus, do we want to be dependent on humans to produce our basic needs in factories? And with that I mean, for example, think of face masks. Imagine that in order to make face masks, we all need to go to work and can make each other sick. Should we have robots and machines make face masks with as little human intervention as possible? Yeah, that trend was already in progress. Automation was already set to take out several types of jobs humans would do. Would that will just be accelerated in World War C. We come out of this, factories could be retooled, innovation can happen in those spaces, and robotics and automation and artificial intelligence, and it may, and because the market demands it right now, these trends will just be sped up. We will find ourselves um, in a year and a half, we will find that the world does not necessarily go back to the way it was. When we wake up, the world will have changed. It will be a different place. And in some ways, it can be an opportunity to create a better world. Let's think about the financial systems and markets. We see things we have not really seen before to this extent. We see central banks around the world coordinating fiscal actions. Um, we see countries inflating themselves out of this situation by negative interest rates, creating more money, and that will ultimately, devalue currencies, or in some clever way could be the start used to be the start of a new type of economy. It could be that the economic devastation of this crisis will be so big that we have to rethink our financial system. And we have the opportunity to try something brand new that we have not tried in the past. And if you think that's not possible or too much to ask, just think about what the Constitution of the United States did to government, what it meant for the world. Freedoms of speech, freedoms of assembly, and all of the rights that are guaranteed by such systems have come about after doing it differently forever. And if it wasn't for certain hardships, certain great thinkers would not have emerged and thought about what it could look like. We have the opportunity, in the wake of the destruction of World War C, to create a new system of economy that is as revolutionary as the Declaration of Independence and Constitution of the United States has been, in terms of guaranteeing certain rights, and I would just encourage, again, everyone watching and not watching this, to think hard about this. We have tried unbridled capitalism, we have tried communism and socialism in every flair and style, and it has all shown its strengths and weaknesses, and we have an opportunity to come up with something brand new. So if you're watching this, the future of mankind is humankind is in your hands. In a way, you have the opportunity to be a founding father. If you have a capability of think through this and contribute to the dialogue, and think about what society could look like once global banks have and central banks have completely lended so much money that the currency might hyperinflate. What could we do to create a fair, human-centered type of economy? So there are going to be big changes depending on how long this crisis lasts. Now, if they come up with a cure next month or the the contagion just dies out on its own. Come summer, by some miracle, we wake up, and if this does not last too long, then yeah, you might just wake up and this was all a bad dream. But it's more likely that it will last longer than that. It's more likely that we will adopt and find a new normal in all of this. And for you businesses watching this, or business owners, and you're thinking about how you are going to survive, your mindset should be, how do I thrive if in the new normal? In a new normal of social distancing, where social distancing would be somewhat relaxed at some point, but certain fundamentals of restricting infection and the spread of infection remain in effect for a prolonged time. How do I thrive in that? See, if you're right now in your boardrooms talking about how you're going to get through April 1st or May 5th or June, and you think the market is going to be back to what it was before, and the rules of the world would not be rewritten, I think you're setting yourself up for failure. You think you're going to wake up and find the world as it was before, and I do not believe that will be the case. I think if you are making decisions right now for your teams and your employees and your family and your loved ones, and when we make decisions for society, we have to start thinking strategically, and strategically long term, and think about how we thrive in this new normal. Yes, we have to stabilize our current situations, but we also have to immediately and urgently start thinking about growth. And we have to start thinking about how we can pivot into this as if it was the new normal. Simply thinking about an unemployment benefit or furlough, or hey, I'm just going to not charge rent to my tenants for a month and so forth. It's not sustainable in the long term, right? So we have to start thinking, as businesses, we have to think about more than what is just going to be in the next month or two, because what we do today will set the foundation for what our business will be a few months from now. And if we think that this is just going to be a bad dream we wake up from, you will not be prepared, and you will disappear along with along with what you have to offer to the world and what services you're providing right now. And if this lasts long enough, your pockets would have to be like Mary Poppins' bag, pretty unlimited. Um, so think about those things strategically, and how your business can long term operate and even grow if this was the new normal. Think through these trends, what habits will change, how consumerism will change. Think about what people's needs are, and start rethinking who you are as a company, and what you can achieve and what you can deliver. And start by answering the questions that relate to why. Start asking the why questions first. Why did people buy our product? What did they have a need that we were filling? What was that need, and why were they buying it? And then ask yourself the question, why would they continue buying my product? And if you do not find a good answer, it means that your chances to survive are close to nil unless you find a new why. And maybe in some cases, um, you will not find a why until you pivot. And if you are making cars right now on an assembly line, maybe it means creating ventilators and face masks instead, and retooling your assembly lines. So retool your business to deliver on the things that people most need, because that's how the market will works and how you can create employment. And this is what we need right now, is we need people to create new opportunities for all those who are affected by the current crisis. As so much is being destroyed, we need creation to happen to compensate for that destruction. And let me know in the comments, or message me or something if you know. Tell me what you're doing, what you're planning to do. I'd love to hear it. And yeah, let me know how this video has maybe changed your perspective, and how it's helped you think differently about your business and maybe the world, and how you can contribute to the future. Thanks for watching.